The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. These are just our stories.
Not too sure what this guy's doing.
Are we recording right now?
We are recording right now. So welcome to the Not So Harry Potter and the Busters Hockey Podcast. Coming back for another week of exciting news around the NHL. And what do you got? Introduce.
What's that?
Tell them who you are.
Oh, you know who I am. Dustin. Buster.
Makes me Not So Harry Potter. So this week's been crazy. I think we should lead off with Sidney Crosby. Him getting hurt, I think, is I don't know, it's not much of a big blow to Pittsburgh, but for those who are looking forward to the Four Nations, it's a bit of a blow for that because do you want him to play in it? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think he needs to play in it to make it worth having. Obviously, if he's really, really hurt and he can't play in it, that's one thing. But I think as far as needing to, for entertainment value, I think he needs to be there. Something's going on here.
Oh, looks like we lost you for a sec.
Still lost me.
Still lost you. Well, despite that, yeah, I do think there's a huge draw for Crosby alone. I'm pretty sure the jerseys have already been sold, and we still don't have you here.
No.
But we'll sneak you into my feed. I'm sure the jerseys have all been sold, and people are just waiting for it. But does he need to? Is it a team first mentality? Because that would be probably a hit to Pittsburgh if you were to play not 100%. And I just don't know. I want to see him play. I want to see him play with McDavid.
Done anyway. So like you say, it's not like it's a huge, big thing for Pittsburgh, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think that he should be playing in it, and I just think that he should look after Sid first.
Yeah, I think so too.
But at the end of the day, I still think that it's a big loss not having all of the potential stars that could be playing in it.
Yeah.
So it's just setback after setback in my mind. With them announcing for next year that
Petrangelo gone, Russia.
Well, them announcing next year that they also aren't allowed to participate, which I have a lot of questions for that. If that means...
Are they doing this same thing again next year? Is that the idea? Because next year's the Olympics.
And that said, I don't know. If they're eligible for the Olympics, which I believe they are able to compete in now. Right?
Yes, NHL players are playing in this upcoming Olympics. Yeah.
Then I'm much more open to that as well. But even still, there is the exclusion of some, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, I don't. Who knows what will happen with Russia?
Yeah, and on to Leon Draisaitl just absolutely killing it. The MacKinnon Draisaitl race, I truthfully don't think it is a race. MacKinnon, he was up there for quite a bit, and he's been caught and
that's true.
Exceeded. So I just don't even think it's a race. I think Draisaitl's going to absolutely pull away with it. MacKinnon is going to be stacking on those points as well. I think he will be in the 100 and 30 range.
McKinnon pulled away.
Yeah, MacKinnon pulled away, but Draisaitl held it there for 24 hours, which is, I mean, saying a lot given that MacKinnon held it for
all season.
Yeah, pretty much. So, no, it's I don't think it'll end up being a race. I think Draisaitl ends up in that 140 north of that range for points.
I think so.
I absolutely do, because McDavid's going to heat up, and then a lot of McDavid's points and goals and have a Draisaitl attachment to him as well. So I don't think it's going to be even a question.
Close, yeah. I think Draisaitl is up there, and I think he's leading. But I think MacKinnon he's been up there all year too. So just to think that he's going to just have some miracle fall off, I don't believe that. So I think he'll probably be number 2, if not McDavid's kind of climbed up there into that number 2 spot. I also feel like that could happen. Because I think we were predicting that earlier, and I think I said McDavid would be in that 2 spot, I think. So I probably can't change that now.
Well, I'm changing my tune on Draisaitl because I was kind of thinking, but like that's it too. McDavid, he's going to close that gap.
Yeah.
Irregardless. Like, it's going to be insane. Yeah. And I think that Marner is going to have a little bit of a decline on that list, whereas Nikita Kucherov,
I think Kuch is going to hang in there too.
If Tampa Bay, because I think points cooled off a little bit, but if Tampa Bay were to say make that right move before the trade deadline, Nikita Kucherov will get a lot of points.
Yeah,
a lot of points.
Yeah, and that's very true.
I wouldn't even doubt him taking a run at the top spot. But I don't know. It's a great year for hockey.
In that 3rd or 4th spot.
Right. So what do you think of Edmonton being in the top of the Western? I see him here with 72 points after 54 games.
Top of the West? Are they second in the West? Winnipeg's top of the West.
Western Pacific.
Oh,
I'm saying, sorry.
Yeah.
And they're climbing up there. They're doing absolutely insane. 2 points ahead of Vegas and
3rd in the league, top of the Pacific.
Yeah, it's an absolute
still got
great
ways
year
to
be an Oiler fan. That's for sure.
Catch Washington and Winnipeg, but they're right freaking there.
So I got the question: what's more important to you, being top of the league or top of the division?
Top of the division, for sure.
Okay.
I think the top of the league is the cherry on top, but top of the division. That's where your rivals are. That's where all the exciting hockey happens. So I think that dictates playoffs and stuff. So I think that's where it's most important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I see Washington, Winnipeg at the top with 79 points. Who would Edmonton, in your mind, likely leapfrog first to get to that number 1 spot?
Oh, Jesus. I would say Winnipeg, just because more than likely we have more games against them. So chances are those are those 4-pointer games. So that's just mathematically, I would say good chance that it's Winnipeg. Otherwise, both teams are just so good that they're going to be tough to leapfrog, to be honest.
Yeah, the goaltending on both those teams is outstanding. And that said, Washington definitely, I think, taking the lead in that category of goaltending because, Winnipeg's got great goaltending in Hellebuck, but they're paying him a pretty hefty price for it, and he's delivering. But Thompson, considerably cheaper.
But if you think Hellebuck as opposed to a Shesterkin or something like that, Hellebuck's not that bad. I think Hellebuck
is great. Shesterkin's great, but they're both pricey goalies. So the difference being there is Shesterkin paid a heavy amount, but this year not quite delivering. Whereas Hellebuck, and don't get me wrong, Shesterkin has consistently delivered over the past years. This is just a first where it's not looking too good. Whereas Hellebuck seemingly has consistently delivered year after year after year.
Yeah. Hellebuck's only $8.5 million. That's That's sexy.
That's
a hell of a contract.
a hell of a contract, but
As opposed
that
to
is still on the higher end of what goalies make, right?
Yeah.
On the higher end. Not saying it's breaking the bank, but
is it even? Because if you really like, it's maybe. I guess if you took an average, it would probably be higher than average.
Well, I'm sure you can find it. Go to top paid in the league, and then go to
How do you do that?
separated by goaltenders. You view all players there. Because, I think that he would probably be in top 10 for paid.
Yeah.
If not the top 5.
Think he'd be top 5? It could be pretty close. Okay, how do I do this? Cap hit.
And then, roll for goaltenders. Settle this right now. Shit.
Price
so we got Carey Price, Sergei Bobrovsky, Andrei Vasilevsky. Who's that? Who's that?
Number 4, Connor Hellebuck.
Oh, sorry. Couldn't read that one. Top 5 then. And then Elias Sorg.
Be top 5.
So, no doubt he's the top 5 goaltender.
You're going to put Shesterkin in front of here after this season, so he's actually 5th. He will actually be 5th. And Swayman will be kicked in here, so he'll actually be 6th.
And I would say that actually seeing this right now as that cap hits this year, he is playing like a $5.6 million goaltender. He's not playing.
Hellebuck?
No. Shesterkin.
Oh,
if that's what he's getting paid for this year, he's still playing
decent.
Only
thing on that team that
he's still playing decent this year. So I'd say right now this year he's playing his worth 100%.
Yeah.
If that's what whereas next year he better step it up about $4.4 million. I think that.
I'm just saying
contract's
that
looking decent.
Contract for what you're getting for Hellebuck is still top notch. I think he's playing right to his value, if not a little bit more.
Well, the fact of the matter is, when it counts, if Florida makes playoffs, all of a sudden Bobrovsky's playing that $10 million goalie role because he's just a freak.
Yeah, he's in year 6 or 7 of that. Didn't realize that.
Yeah,
and $10 million contract.
Yeah, and then keep in mind, 37. He will be the oldest goaltender in the league at that point.
Really?
Does he get the oldest goaltender in the top 15, anyways?
Yeah, true.
Because I'm not seeing much higher there, but
Fleury's the oldest in the league.
Yeah, but he'd be retiring next year, and then we're getting to Cam Talbot and stuff. Whereas Talbot will be the oldest by the looks of it.
Jonathan Quick, 39.
Oof. What's his year? Yeah, he'll retire. I'd almost guarantee he retires.
Think he retires this year? Yeah, you're probably right on that one.
But, I mean, I wouldn't.
James Reimer.
Wouldn't have been a paycheck on it, but.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Little long in the tooth for a goaltender, if you ask me. But
sometimes those goalies, those elite guys, they can last till they're 40 or so.
Yeah, sometimes, no doubt. But usually they are on more competitive teams as well.
And they are typically, like you look at a Fleury or something, they are typically more in a backup role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, I don't know. I think that how Minnesota is performing this year, and I would have loved to see him in a starter role and actually pack on some wins.
Yeah, it would have been sweet.
I think that would have been pretty awesome. I would even like to see him come to Edmonton.
He did come to Edmonton. He did come to Edmonton.
No,
missed him.
to play for Edmonton.
Play for Edmonton.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, you'd take him over Pickard. I think entertainment value you would. But Pickard,
I think honestly, because he's got a proven record. Like as a backup goaltender, would I have confidence going into absolutely every game with him? Yeah. Whereas at the start of the year, I'll be the first to admit, putting Pickard in a game, I was a little shaky, thinking, how many goals do we have to score tonight to win this game? Yeah. But I'm eating my words. I admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about Calvin so far. I hope he keeps playing at that level. And he has been. I can't say enough good things about him right now. But Edmonton is also playing a lot more complete hockey. We do need depth scoring. I don't know if that comes in some last minute before trade deadline kind of moves.
Well, it almost seems like Jeff Skinner's starting to
Yes.
wake up a little bit and get some ice time, and Knobloch seems to be playing him a little bit more and trusts him a little bit more. So hopefully he can turn into that, top 6 play with Leon Draisaitl winger that he was brought in to be.
Jeff Skinner is capable of 20 plus goals a season. And I would say
This season?
No,
A season.
A season.
I
And
like it. He's at 10.
30 assists. A season. That is the kind of player that he is. Mm-hmm. And I have faith that if we put the kind of support that we put in our players that we love as Edmonton fans, Connor Brown, Vander Kane, Draisaitl, Hartman, McDavid, Nuge. We love our players when they are just playing to the ability that we know they can play. We don't expect above and beyond, honestly. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we are a hard market to play in as far as Canadian markets and how rough some teams get on.
Yeah. No, I'd say that's probably pretty fair.
If you stay out of the garbage Facebook fan groups, then I think that you can have a pretty positive outlook on the Oilers and their players. Whereas those dirty Leafs,
Can't help yourself.
I will admit they have very talented players, but they should all leave. There's just no respect out of those fans. Why'd you get me started on the Leafs?
You started yourself on the Leafs.
Well, since you brought them up, what are they going to do? I believe their two highest point producers are up for re-signing, and I couldn't be happier about that prospect.
Yeah.
I hope that
I don't know what they're going to do.
I hope that if the league expands, here's a hot take. I hope if the league expands, Toronto gets another team just so the greater Toronto area can have faith that they might win a cup in the next 15 years. Because this is
you're so hard on Toronto.
They're sorry. They deserve it. But on from that, Calgary making a good push.
Yeah,
I think those moves that they made were just absolutely dynamite.
Yeah, they were good for sure.
I would love to see them.
Fabry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd like to see them make the playoffs. I'm not your traditional Calgary hating fan. I've explained to you before that Calgary is our Joker. A lot of the fans are, Jokers as well, but Joker to Batman. What's one without the other? They make the rivalry great. Hockey needs more rivalries. That's why I would love to see the Nordiques get a team again, because, there are absolutely classic rivalries in NHL history, and that is one of them. And fans want it. That arena. Awesome. Have you seen that arena?
No.
Quebec? Gorgeous, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one. I believe they said they're going to play 2 preseason games next year in it, but it's a gorgeous arena. So the infrastructure's there, the fans. It would make money.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand as to how it hasn't happened or how it's not generating even more clickbait or anything, but it just seems like they're throwing money away. But I don't know, Utah. I hope the guy's got deep pockets.
Yeah,
deep.
He's gonna need it.
Deep.
I think it'll work, but he's gonna need it.
Well, the thing is, in the era of today's businessman, you can only take losses for so long. So what are we going to see in 5 years if Utah doesn't make playoffs? Say four of those years. And like, yeah, I understand too. If I won the Powerball and bought...
Money was no option.
And I bought... I love hockey. Like, honestly, any franchise, I'd stick it out until...
Could not possibly.
Yeah, until like my last 6 payments were getting a little shaky. Like, so I absolutely think that some owners will elevate the game of hockey for sure with their love of it.
Yeah,
and I would love to see Ottawa go to a good owner. I wouldn't even be upset if they moved location, but I would like to see it stay Canadian.
Yeah.
I definitely would like Ottawa
to see Canadian. Yeah, I think it would be devastating if another Canadian team left and it went somewhere down in the States. I think that would suck big time. So I don't foresee Ottawa moving anymore now that they've got the new owner, but
absolutely. Seeing them jumping in that wild card spot, though, I would not mind seeing both the Chuck brothers in the playoffs. They are just beast mode.
Potentially playing each other. As if playoffs started tomorrow, they would.
They play playoff hockey, I feel like, in every game of the season. Like
Panthers, or you just mean the Chuck brothers?
It's Chuck brothers.
Yeah.
They play hard, like, every game. So, like...
I don't like Matthew just because he played on Calgary and he beat us in the Stanley Cup final, but
you gotta let that
he is a good player.
That's not healthy. You gotta let that go.
Whatever, Toronto.
They're ongoing. You're talking. You're talking years ago.
What?
Matthew, Calgary, never happened again.
Oh yeah, but still, it beat us just last year.
But Toronto continues to be beaten out first round, or give up massive playoff leads, and I say they're worse than Buffalo because nobody expects anything out of Buffalo.
Yeah, nobody expects anything out of Buffalo. That can't be denied.
There you go.
But
simple.
You win.
But it's not about winning. But on with that. Bedard with his absolute struggle with the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, they need to get him some help. Holy man.
Does he get anchored to that team, or do we possibly see a move in the foreseeable future? Because it's not like they're making any positive moves to better their team as a whole. They have no depth. They have pretty much no stars.
They're trying to go through the draft, like completely through the draft and rebuild through there. But man, it's such a crapshoot. I don't know. I don't foresee him leaving somewhere. I think they'll, unless he decides finally to say like, okay, you guys aren't doing anything. I want to get out of here. But that doesn't happen very often in hockey, so I don't really foresee that happening.
Well, to that same respect, you got to produce to get paid. So if he's not reaching those top 15, top 20 of the league numbers, I mean,
that's fair.
Are you going to either overpay him to stay, or are you going to utilize that, say, $14 million that may come up in the not so distant future and get to $7 million players that might give you some depth scoring? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. It's tough to say. Like, do you ever really win those trades when you get rid of that star player? I tend to think not. So it's tough to think about getting rid of him.
Where is he? Is sitting at 44 in the league.
Oh yeah, 44.
I don't think that ending the season with I would say at best 85 points is enough to warrant getting paid anything more than $8.5 million. That's what I feel like.
You're my scale.
My scale is going by, and I feel like if you get, say, 40 points a season and you're consistent with that 40 points, you're about a $4 million player. if you get that 100 points consistently, I would say that you are able to ask for 10 million and up.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. 100 point for 10 million.
100 point. And if you're capable, like say your McDavids and MacKinnons, that select group that is capable of getting 130, 40 points, that $14.5 billion contract isn't so egregious. I believe it's about, per every 10 points, that's about $1 million's worth in the way that the league seems to pay their players.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair. I
So,
like that.
Yeah. And then when you see your Taylor Halls come in and rake up a big contract, and it's just like the injury riddled and this and that, and it's just like, I believe that there should be a bridge deal before a long-term contract. Show us what you can do.
Yeah,
You're back
that's
to
what
that.
happens most of the time.
When he signed with Chicago, I believe it was a 6-year, wasn't it?
No, 3 years.
3 years? But
Yeah.
that's still, I believe, too long.
Really?
Granted, I don't think 8-year contracts should be a thing.
Yeah.
Too long.
I think 5 would be a sweet maximum.
I think, 5 or 6, because I feel like 8 devaluates the player's value, and it also can tie the team into much more money that they want to pay out if the player goes south in their performance. And it makes everybody way more performance-based, held to the accountability of their skill.
I feel like the only real downside to that, though, is you're going to be so top-heavy in your pay for your forwards, and like your third, fourth line guys are just going to get fucking hammered. They're going to get bitch slapped when it comes to pay.
How?
They like just that pay wage gap. Oh God, I can't believe I just said that. But
there's more value on the player. So it's performance based. So realistically, if you're that fourth liner not getting paid much, well, there's a reason. There are players that are on the Oilers that only have a couple goals in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I just know that they've been talking about like how the gap is starting to get pretty big with like the haves and the have-nots as far as pay, and I just think that would make it worse. Not that I'm 100% opposed.
But the skill of the entire league would go up, and those players that necessarily don't produce the have-nots, if you will, they wouldn't be in the NHL. It would elevate the skill of the league because everything would be way more.
Yeah, but you can elevate the skill of the league, but if you're still just paying your top 3 or 4 guys on your team $14, $15, $16 million, you're going to have the rest of the other half of your team at $1 million. And like I said, not that I'm seriously opposed to that. I'm just playing kind of devil's advocate here.
100%. But in Mike's perfect hockey world, where he's the new commish, taking over for Bettman.
Nice. No big deal.
Just send me your vote. I would honestly think that there isn't too many $16 million contracts out there, simply because unless you're reaching 160 points, you don't have the right to ask for it. Yeah. And there would be that kind of a stipulation on contracts where, it would be way more performance based. You have to be able to produce this much to even ask for this much.
You're pretty much just like
different style cap.
Whether you've said this on intentionally or not, but you're basically every example you've said has been basically a 10 point per $1 million salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
So
scouting all would be the same, but it's just when you get into this league, you are expected to perform.
Yeah, for sure. It's the best league in the world.
Absolutely. Allegedly. I mean, the jury's out. But
top hockey league in the world is what I mean.
Top talent, absolutely. And I think that the way you'd be able to do that is because nobody would really be getting in based on their name or who they know, because we do know that happens. We do know that good players at lower levels may get overlooked because maybe their parents don't have as much money, didn't donate as much to a certain school or whatever have you, or maybe they had a relative that might have been in the NHL and somewhat grandfathered into the NHL themselves without the same, like they might have not even been the top 3 scorer on their team and they're still making it to the show, and the other guy's not. Yeah. So that said, that guy that took his team to the playoffs and just a farm boy, maybe, and it doesn't have much, but he's just an absolutely great hockey player. He would get in based on his production, his talent, not his connections. Yeah. So the skill of the league as a whole would go up if it was just strictly performance based. Yeah. And that's where I'm going.
Okay. Interesting.
But I don't know. Just a hot take.
Yeah, I guess so. Nice one.
But I don't know if we got too much more to discuss, and because the league is actually seemed to be calming down. It's not so much absolute chaos and fights and
Oilers
ridiculous
play tonight, and then they're on their break. So all these teams are just going on their break for the four nations, and we'll see what that brings.
Well, before we end it, I just want to ask what your opinion is on the Hartman suspension. He is appealing it. I don't know how the appeal went.
I haven't even seen the video. I've heard lots about it, but I have not seen the video yet.
It is bad, man.
It sounds bad.
I don't know any way to spin it as in it's not that bad. Because, it's like he pulls the helmet off almost with intent.
It isn't that bad?
No, I'm just saying there's no way to come to that conclusion that it's not that bad. Okay, I just don't feel like you can say, well, I don't think he was meaning to, or, well, if you look, a lot of what Norris did was his body, you can't say that. Like the Bertuzzi, well, a lot of people jumped on the back and all. It wasn't necessarily Bertuzzi followed on the broken. You heard all those excuses come out afterwards. We know what he did was wrong, but there may have been mitigating factors to him getting injured.
Yeah,
more to it. Whereas there's none of that in this incident because he.
I started trying to look for it, but
drives his head in.
Wasn't able to find it.
And what I love about Norris is he didn't lay on the ice. He didn't.
Stutzla?
Is it Stutzla?
I believe it was Stutzla.
Okay, maybe it was. I'm sorry. Could be wrong on that. But he just drove his head on the ice. And he gets up and just goes to the bench. Doesn't lay on the ice or nothing. And I like that because I just hate when even the lightest that soccer style of trying to get a call. I hate that.
Yeah. From what I've heard of it, like I said, I haven't seen it. I tried to look for it after I heard about it, and I wasn't able to find it. From what I heard about it, I think 10 games is pretty good. If not, they could have even went a little heavier. I heard he's appealing it, just probably to save on a little bit of money.
I thought that he would get more simply for the fact that the call on the ice was a match and an ejection.
Yeah.
And this is, it's a stain on the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, just give that a look. But as the viewers, you should give us your opinion on that.
Where he absolutely owned the tournament.
Sorry about that. And let us know what you think on any of the things we discussed here today. He's just watching this now, so I want to see his opinion on it, as that was the question.
Missed it.
Nope, they replay it here on a slow motion. But just a dirty, unnecessary play. I get trying to get your team back into the game. But if you're both trying to be contenders, you're going to work. You want to go to work the next day. That's your job. Why would you intentionally that's just no need for it.
Yeah, it was Stutzla for sure.
Oop, my bad. I was wrong. And
I'm just replaying it.
Assess the match penalty right away. Reviewed. Ejected. Absolutely right call. So I feel like if that's the call on the ice, then he should have maybe done a little bit more.
Just put his forearm right on his back of his shoulders, eh?
Yeah.
Just drove him right down.
Right down. And the thing peeled the helmet off.
Yeah.
And that's not how you take a face off. So it's just what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Well, Hartman's like that though, right? Like he's gonna make those.
Like
he's
a dirtbag?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what I mean. He's a fucking
It's funny
dirtbag.
because you were saying dirt. Yeah. Glad we were on that same.
He's gonna do that shit. That's the type of player he is, and that's why I think they did 10 games. I think they wanted to send a bit of a message. I think they could have sent a little bit more. I would have even liked to see like 15 now that I see kind of what he did there. I think 15 would have been a little more fair, but
yeah. But like I said, I'm sorry. I got one more thing to discuss.
what's up?
What is your opinion on the reffing situation in the NHL right now? And I do say situation with intent because I do think that the inconsistency has to be addressed.
Yeah.
It's completely changing the dynamic of games with makeup calls for one, and the question being arose, are we allowed to still hit in this league? So
no, they're trying to take hitting. They've taken fighting out of the game, and they're going to try and take hitting out of the game.
I disagree on fighting. I believe those fights have been going up over the last few years. I would urge you to look it up because I believe the statistics on fighting are going up over the last few years. But what they're calling dirty hits, and then the makeup calls, I think, are just the absolute worst. Where it would almost seem like some teams are knowing there's a makeup call going to be called at some point soon, and they're maybe taking a dive or a little light on their feet or something, maybe. And it to me is just it should never. The ref should never impact the outcome of the game. They should police the game.
Yes. Obviously, some of those calls are going to impact the outcome of the game.
But that's the player.
Yes.
In doing that. There's going to be mistakes made. But I don't know. And then it's a mixed kettle of fish because like the player or the goal reviews as a whole, they made a lot of good calls. They made a lot of bad calls. Pretty indifferent on the current status of how it is. But I think in a perfect league that there would be no goal reviews. I do miss the old days where, shit happens. Those are some moments in the early 90s that we still talk about.
Yeah.
Whereas like we could have had one. Whereas like that human error is nice because we live in a world that lacks a lot of human connection. Whereas, refs would own it. Like we used to hear about from the refs after games.
Mm-hmm. A little bit, yeah.
Like I remember seeing interviews with refs.
Yeah, I don't remember too many, but
or commenting on the game. Like you don't see like any of that anymore. Whereas, no, I think maybe a little step back to how the game used to be. I don't know if it's nostalgia of that's how you just had it when you grew up. But
it's tough to say. Like I love how fast the game is right now, and I love certain aspects of the game, but there are other aspects like the offside rule, and like there's just shit that doesn't need to be reviewed. I don't think. So I agree with you that. But then on the flip side, if you want it to be policed, and if you don't want the referee's call to impact the amount of the game or like the outcome of the game, then you need to make sure that it's the right call at the right time, and you need video review for that. So it's 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. With you love hate it, but I don't want to see the game change. Like I love the speed of the game and where it's at, and frankly, that's just too fast for the human eye to really catch all these proper plays. So if you want the refs' calls to be mitigated as far as the outcome of the game, you almost should advocate for more.
See, and here's the thing. Whereas I think that when you implement all these things, then they become rules, then that brings in more factors that make the game
Slows it down.
irreversible.
It slows it down.
Because, okay, here's what I mean by that, is in the sense that you had that little break in, say, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where there was like that transition from the fighter kind of disappearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you had a more speed focused game, and then that emerged like your McDavids and those types of players, your Crosbys. I think Crosby was probably the emergence of that speed in the game.
That's
again, because like before that, prior, it was like Wayne Gretzky that brought that speed in the game. And this is just my opinion. But now we're coming up to a day and age where we got our stars, our leading scorers, and this is where I think there is a difference in superstars, and this is where I think MacKinnon has the advantage, because superstar is a blanket term that seems to put people as equals. But MacKinnon can whoop an ass. He can stand up for any player on his team. He is like a Shane Doan type of captain. Oh, we got the dog in there.
Yeah.
And that is why I just think that he is an all-around amazing player. Whereas, correct me if I'm wrong, McDavid, an absolutely amazing player, but could he whoop an ass if somebody were to take a cheap shot at Draisaitl? No.
I don't think
would
you
he even
want
be
him
expected
to.
Exactly. Whereas I feel like as your captain, your leader in almost any scenario in life, you should be able to.
Do you see MacKinnon fighting too?
He fought like 10 games ago.
Did he? Okay.
And he's fought before. Like don't get me wrong, McDavid's fought, but he's proven
He hasn't
all
been
his
in the
fights
NHL.
have proven that he shouldn't fight.
Yeah.
And he
I
did
don't
fight
think
once in the NHL and he broke his hand.
No, that was in junior.
That was in his second year in the league here, was it not?
No, 100% not.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, sorry. I apologize there, but false claim, false news. But
No,
that I feel like
100%.
is the difference, though. That doesn't change the fact that I think MacKinnon is all around for that reason. And that is the one thing, because he can keep up with McDavid on every other level that McDavid can bring to the table.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But if there was a playoff series, shit was getting thick in front of the net, and say MacKinnon drove to the net hard and just not even laid Skinner out, but got a little close. Start pushing. McDavid's pushing him because McDavid likes to give some cross checks. He likes to push to be hard for the net. And MacKinnon drops the gloves.
That would be insane. I don't foresee it happening, but
That's not the point. It's hypothetical.
yeah, no, MacKinnon would definitely have that advantage for sure.
Okay. I just think that MacKinnon is the I think that he's literally, and look, when Shane Doan was in the league, I thought that Shane Doan was the absolute best captain in the league. He's like a Jerome McGinley, a Shane Doan, a Nathan MacKinnon.
No, that's fair.
Absolutely amazing players.
Yeah, he is for sure. Well, they are. They all were.
Because I respect that captain, that you aren't taking a cheap shot at any one of my players.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah. So, in closing, that's our podcast for this week from Not So Harry Potter and the Buster. We appreciate you for being with us. You can go to our webpage at harrybusterpodcast.com. You can find us on YouTube, Not So Harry Potter and the Buster's Hockey Podcast. And we thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Like and subscribe if you like the talk that we do.
Talk that we do, and go Oilers.
Go Oilers. See you guys.
Good to see you guys.